Hey friends, welcome into the Leadership Sandbox. Today, I'm going to start with a leadership truth that might just make some of you squirm a little bit. Here it is. You ready? Brace yourself. Your team is modeling you, not your leadership book that you just brought into the meetings, not the latest podcast that you had them all listen to, not the mission statement that you have hanging in the hallway or the values that you have them recite at every team meeting. No, not even that amazing leadership training program that HR just rolled out. No, friends, they're modeling you. The way that you react under pressure, the way that you talk to people who aren't in the room or talk about people that aren't in the room, and how you talk to people in the room, the way you handle mistakes, the way that tension rolls off you or builds in you, and how you manage conflict. Because why? Because as human beings, we are wired to model behavior. We learn by watching what works around us, which means that every leader is broadcasting out the behavioral signals all day long that others are picking up, whether they realize it or not. So if you're frustrated with your team and how they're showing up, there's a very real chance that they're simply modeling the leadership behaviors that they see. So today in the Sandbox, we're going to be talking all about why this happens and why it might be one of the most overlooked force factors shaping your culture in your organization and in your team. So welcome into the Leadership Sandbox. I'm Tammy J Bond, and we're going to get going in 3, 2, 1 right now. Let's dive in. All right, welcome back in. So one of my favorite all-time persons to read about what they've brought to the world of psychology is all things related to Albert Bandura, because he demonstrated that humans learn behavior through observation. His famous Bobo doll experiment showed that people copy behaviors they watch, even without instruction. And it applies directly to leadership. And if you want to know, really get a firsthand look, just hang out with a toddler for a while and they start modeling you and they start modeling the behaviors around them. Guess what? Those adults in your workplace aren't any different than the toddler that you might hang out with to watch how they model behaviors, because teams watch. This directly applies to leadership. They watch how leaders react under pressure, how they handle mistakes, how they talk about people that are in the room and out of the room, and how leaders respond to conflict. Then they mirror it. Why? Because they've learned the safety parameters of how to operate and what's accepted here. And then they model it and they walk in that. So if a leader gossips, guess what? Gossip spreads. You're going to have Glenn the gossips everywhere. So when I go in and work with teams and we're installing a command leadership behavior operating system, what are we talking about? What are the behaviors that we don't like? And gossip will come up. Great. And then guess what? I love it when the leaders want to tell me all the gossip about the people on the team so that, I can come in and fix that. And I'll say to them, no, stop. I actually don't want your storyline about the people on your team, because that's a storyline that's building up a repeated behavior in you. So we're going to stop that. And I'm going to have my own observation about behaviors, and then we'll work to correct it. If leaders avoid conflict, accountability on your team disappears. So you can't expect someone to own their own mistakes when you as the leader aren't actually even willing to address them and confront them. And if leaders tolerate bad behavior, the team learns that behavior works and often gets rewarded. People copy what succeeds. That's how culture spreads. Which means that leaders are constantly teaching behavior even when they think that they aren't. Leadership isn't about saying the right things. Leadership is about modeling the right behaviors. And it's up to you to decide what those behaviors are that we want rewarded, that we want to repeat, that we want to show respect from and for and give respect for. I love it when I get to go in and talk with leaders about developing their core pillars to growth. And then we take it one step further and we say, all right, so what are the behaviors that we want to catch people doing that model those pillars? And the blank stares I get looking back at me, it's funny. It always makes me giggle when I get to have that level of dialogue, or when I hear of organizations that are implementing new leadership development programs through HR, which you know how I feel about that. I believe that what happens is people they want the best, right? We want, as leaders, we want our people to grow and we want them to develop. But then we got to ask, what are the behaviors? My biggest challenge that I have with people who come on my team is I often see more in my people than they see in themselves. And so I'm modeling a behavior to mirror for them what I see for them. And it can overwhelm them at times, and it can frustrate them at times, and it can make them feel like they're actually less than. I've learned that. So what I've learned is, yes, still model the behaviors I expect from people and want from people on the execution side. But when it comes to what I see and the possibility in people, I've changed the way I have dialogue with them about that possibility to build up their self-efficacy. You see, this is all modeled. This is all behavior that we have the opportunity to model for people. So they pick up on, oh, this is what she expects. Oh, this is what she wants. Oh, when I get someone who is disrespectful, calling on the other line, how do I handle that? Well, it's already been modeled because we've done that with each other in the workplace. Remember that your teams don't follow words. They follow behaviors. So what you have as an outcome, friend, is a modeling of the behavior that you yourself have been modeling for your team. So if you want to learn more about how to get a leadership behavior operating system, we call it Command here at the Leadership Sandbox. And if you want to learn about how to install one of those and define what that is in your organization so that we're modeling the very behaviors that we say that we want and rewarding it and repeating it because that's what we've already decided on, then you're going to want to actually head on over to Bond Group Enterprises /command-leadership. And you can get information about our program, Command, the Leadership Behavior Operating System. Because if you're going to model behavior, it may as well be the behaviors that you want to reward and that you want repeated every single day in the workplace. Because why not? Why wouldn't you otherwise? All right, friends, that's it for me today in the Sandbox. I just wanted to make this real quick and in a hurry to remind you that we are designed to model behaviors, and we are designed as human beings to actually learn from what is modeled. So if you have something in your workplace you don't want, it's time for you to take command and change the leadership behavior operating system that you have in your workplace. All right, that's it for me. Thanks so much for joining me in the Sandbox today, and I will see you next time for another compelling episode in the Leadership Sandbox. Make it a great day, and God bless you.